Well, hello everybody. Here we are, back again. The Thursday night forum is commenced, right? The Thursday night forum is commenced. Bad thing about being in August is the summer is coming to a close. 5 or 6 weeks to go. The good thing about being in August is Arsenal's just a few weeks away. So that's the good and the bad. How are you, Alonso?
Yeah, good mate. Just hanging out. I saw the game last night, but I'm sure we'll talk about it here shortly. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait till the season starts. There's a lot of anticipation, partly because we finished last year. We finished second again, but slowly bridging the gap between City and yeah, I hope that we'll get a couple more signings before the season starts, or end
Yep.
up before the deadline closes. So, yeah, lots to talk about tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. There's a little bit to get through. We have notes and we'll follow through on those. Like Alonso said, Lawrence, we have taken Liverpool's mantle in the last few seasons, taken second place. I, for one, I'm not going to get too caught up in the preseason games and the results that we see from them. But how are you feeling, Lawrence, today?
Um, I'm all right, as we're now into August, just 3 weeks away from the start of a new season. And it's just going to be interesting to see if Mikel Arteta strengthens the squad now by bringing in some further signings, as being reported.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Touching on that, so we'll go free flow tonight. Touching on that, Alonso. Last season, we did a goalkeeper, we did a defender, we did a midfielder, and we did a forward. What turned out to be a forward in the end, in Kai Havertz. Something similar may be happening this season. Season, Alonso, we got David Raya on a permanent now. He's a fully fledged schooner. Calafiori, we saw him join up with the squad in Philadelphia. Looks like Mikel Merino is going to come. And, we may get a forward as well before the season starts.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is, it seems like Arteta and Edu have now had their targets. And all along, we knew, I guess, kind of knew what Arsenal were trying to do, but I think like Arteta has always said that he's never afraid to improve wherever he can, and that means strengthening the defense, strengthening the midfield, and even up front. So yeah, we got Calafiori in, and he's been known to be a good defender and can play multiple positions. And Marino is solidified himself as one of the best midfielders in Spain, playing with Real Sociedad and also featuring in the Euros for the Spain team. So I look forward to it, and I think we're in for that striker. I can't say his name because it's kind of different, but yeah, they're in for the striker from Sporting Lisbon, who's got a record of himself to be pretty proud of. So yeah, it seems like we're narrowing down our targets, and before anyone else can get a hold of them, or at least Arteta's willing to put his reputation out there, and Arsenal's as well, saying that this is not the place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've seen that with previous teams in previous seasons that they've had been able to get the best players in the market because they were going to one of the better teams in the Premier League. And now we've seen that with Arsenal. The likes of Lawrence, the likes of Calafiori just saying, I'm ready. My bags are packed. Come and get me if you want me, Arsenal, Edu, and Mikel Arteta. So, we're able to now be able to attract the players that we want, Lawrence, and not worry that someone like Chelsea is going to come in and take them from us.
Yeah, it's it's nice to be in a position where you've got these big name players who just want to come and join us. They don't care about anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, before it was Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool were the favourable destinations for some of these players. But
Yep.
you know, now it looks like everyone wants to come to North London.
Yeah, long may it continue. And maybe this is just starting now. The next 3, 4, 5 years, where we are going to be in that window I've been talking about, where the emphasis really has to be about picking up silverware now, and going on and winning some of the major honors as well. Trying to bridge that gap from winning FA Cups to, sealing
Yeah.
league titles in the final
No,
games of the season.
no more signings like Yaya, Sanogo, Shamak, and Eboué.
Yeah, indeed. Uh, so really, as I say here, it is very much about the right player and the right profile, Alonso.
Yeah, I mean, Abule, to his credit, he did pretty well for Arsenal on the back line, and he played some important minutes during. So, I wouldn't kind of exclude him as being a flop. I think Sinogo and Shamak. I think Shamak got really sick, I think, at one point in his career. So he really didn't catch on, and Sinogo was just a bust from the beginning, but he did win an FA Cup,
Yeah,
which is weird, right? So it happens a lot in football where you had these unknowns win trophies, and Seth Fabregas didn't win crap for Arsenal. Uh, anyway, yeah. So I wouldn't say that Abu Dhabi was Emmanuel Abueli was a bad player for Arsenal. But I think when you talk about strikers, they've been some hit and misses. Um, so yeah, I think we need to get back to getting strong players, established players. Um, and knowing what you're going to get at the decent price as well.
yeah,
And I think Arsenal have gotten really good about not overpaying for a player like a Mahito Modric that went to Chelsea. Bargain deals are not bad, and I think Arsenal had gotten used to that idea. Declan Rice, I think, is an exception. Um, and Havertz was just overpriced, but he did make a good last second half of the season. So there are some players there that I think are unknown, but then when they come to Arsenal, they become superstars at least.
yeah,
So I'm hoping
yeah.
that this current Arsenal run can make superstars, but yet they can also stay to play for a long time.
Yeah. So I think we're able to now be able to profile. We're finding the right players to profile. It remains to be seen how Calafiori will settle in particular, being an Italian. But he's got Jorginho alongside him, which is going to help as well. I think we can underestimate what it's like to move from one country to another and to play football at a professional level. You need people around you. You need help from the club. You need help from other players to bring you in and embrace you. I think we've already seen pictures of Calafiori hanging out with Martinelli and Jorginho. And if Marino comes in, Alonso, we now have a situation where that left side now is being strengthened with Calafiori, Timber, Jorginho. Rice will be there, maybe. Mourinho will be there, and that's all going to help Martinelli as well, or whoever's going to be on that left wing.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Zinchenko. I don't rate him as much as I do QVR. I think Timber, to me, uh, and Calafiori really are the ones to look at left back. I think before he got hurt, Timber was just the man I think to be in that position moving forward. I think he still can be. I think whenever you have a guy like Martinelli who has very very strong pace, um, you know I think with Zinchenko he has a lot of cluster when he moves up front and kind of discombobulates things a lot. And I think when you had a guy like Tomiyasu, PVR, most of the time last year playing that role whenever Zinchenko was hurt, I think you saw more Martinelli being more open and more ready to do the things he does best. And I think whenever you have a guy like Zinchenko who's crowded that area because he's gone so far to pitch that it can be congested for Martinelli sometimes. So I think it's better to have a more defensive left back kind of control the area.
Yeah.
So it can allow Martinelli to be more free to do his own thing. And also Martinelli's a very good defender as well. He tracks back very fast. So, we can only hope that we get a better defensive left back in there so that Zinchenko won't have to struggle in bigger games.
Yep. So yeah, I was gonna get into the welcoming everybody here in the chat box, but let's welcome Gary to the show as well. How we doing, Gary?
Hello there, Ray. Hello, Lonzo, and hello there, Mr. Lawrence, the old man.
Hi, Gary.
Yeah. Well, he's just, I don't know. How are you? Do you want to say how old you are, Lawrence, or do you want to leave that alone? You're boosting our average age. You've pushed up our average age of the squad here on the show. So there you go. Evening one and all from Stephen. Thanks for being here. Lawrence and Alonso are here. Things are going well, Alonso. Okay. I'm going to skim through a bit more here. We've already strengthened with Calafiori and Merino coming in. We know we're getting at least one more player, hopefully an attacking one. Yeah, exactly. BX Gunner. Man, I got to get a preseason into me here for podcasting as well. So I've got to get up to speed. Timber as well is classed as a new signing. Yeah, LANS, like a new signing. We have only seen half of a game from Timber in a real competitive setting. So I know Gary and I are very, very excited about seeing Timber play again. So, and, I know Stan has put it out there. We haven't really seen him play for Arsenal, but I saw enough in a few preseason games and a half game to know that Timber is going to be good for Arsenal. Steven said we still need that Partey replacement. The fact that we have not replaced him is not good as far as I'm concerned. For me, it's our number one priority coming out of last season. So, would Merino be the Partey replacement? Would that be a satisfactory one for Steven and you, let's say?
Me, yes. Yeah. Based
I
on
think-
what little bit I know about him and what people have said, he definitely. I mean, he'll be our starting number 6. Push Rice up, or they say he'll push Rice back depending on how we decide to play it. Because I think he's better. That's the one thing that Rice still needs to work on is the progression. All right, getting the ball up the pitch. So Merino could definitely do that. So that would be where he would fit in, and then Rice can do more of the defensive work on the back there. So,
as BX Gunner said, it was very sad that Diaby had all of that talent and we didn't see a whole lot of it at Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Really, some really good glimpses of his ability. We're back to attracting the top level player, no more bargain bin. And we were just saying that, Gary, before you joined the Arsenal knock now is well and truly one of the biggest knocks in the Premier League. And players start to take notice of Arsenal when they have an opportunity to come. And Calafiori mentioned that he could have gone to other clubs just as big as us. Just decided to wait for Arsenal. Timber, Calafiori, and Mourinho will easily elevate the technical levels by a mile on the left. All Nelly has to do is finish his dinner. There you go. Okay, let's see what's going on. Yeah, I got you doing that. No problem. Okay, Gary, let's jump into the game last night. And my take on it is It's preseason. Let's not get too excited about it. We knew before the game even started that Zinchenko versus Salah was almost like giving Liverpool a goal start. What do you think?
Yeah, I I don't know. I guess he had no other choice, but I would have liked to maybe have seen. I'd rather have a youngster play there because they're gonna have to learn how to play multiple positions anyways. So why not? Salah is probably the worst case scenario, but yeah, that was just painful to watch, and it basically threw off the game. I mean, we had, if you noticed, the defense structure all changed in my eyes anyway. So yeah, like if that wasn't a like, you know what, this isn't gonna work ever. Let's not do it ever again. That was one of those. Him getting like run at like that. I mean, if Saliba was there, it probably wouldn't have happened because Gabriel was left all alone. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, that's poor to see because like now, like even if you wanted to sell him, that you can't sell him as a defensive player.
No.
So and like he had a couple of plays where a couple of passes forward that looked promising, but nothing. We didn't score on any of them. So it's like, show me something that you do. What are the pros? What are the pros for having Zinchenko in the squad? I know we know the cons, but what are the pros? Because we don't see enough of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you could say that he balanced the ledger a little bit. He was involved in the build up for the goal that we did score. So he conceded against Salah. I'm going to get into this a bit later, but I think it's unfair to Zinchenko to be continually picked at left back. It doesn't showcase his talents strongly enough. And I'm going to put a hot take out right now. I think we'll see Zinchenko pushed into midfield this season. I'm just going to say that now. We haven't seen it. It's a hot take. But
you've got Calafiori, you've got Timber, you've got Merino, you've got Partey, you've got Georgina that all can play better than Zinchenko in the midfield.
But yeah. But I'm going to say he will play there at some point. He has to. You can't keep playing him a left back. All right, let's go downstairs. Lawrence, what do you think? What are we doing to Zinchenko? What are we doing with Zinchenko? I've gone back and forth to this with Tony over the years. I always thought we'd get more out of it than we lose, but it seems like we lose a lot when Zinchenko plays in the back line with us.
I don't know what it is with Arteta, but he's doing what Arsene Wenger did by trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. He's tried this experiment for the last 3 seasons, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It basically was inviting Mo Salah to score.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Zinchenko cannot defend. He is a midfield player. He is not a left back.
Yep.
He would have been better off playing Kivior at left back and bringing in one of the kids to partner Gabriel, or play one of the kids at left back.
Yeah.
But this is what pisses me off about Arteta. He does this all the time. He's trying to put a square peg into a round hole, and we can see it doesn't work. I mean, with due respect to Tony, Arteta could have put Tony at left back and done a better job.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's just so infuriating.
He could have talked to Salah. I mean, he could have talked to Salah. If Tony's on the field, he would just talk to Salah. Talk smack.
He'd have sold him his crayons. He would have given him his crayons. But also, I feel sorry for Zinchenko because this can affect his confidence.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. And why Arteta continually persists in putting him in a position that he doesn't feel comfortable with is just unbelievable.
Yeah. And I hate to point it out, but we saw it last in the Premier League when we lost against Aston Villa. And, we were beaten well on the day against Aston Villa.
We
I
saw
think
it in the Liverpool match at Anfield.
saw it in the Liverpool match against
I
Anfield.
mean, think about it. That was on a run to get what? I don't know. I think that was to win the league, right?
Yeah.
We failed in other places, but like him
Yeah,
playing on
true.
that left back created the situation where they scored a goal. I mean,
Yep.
he's helping. We're dropping points with him in there. I mean, I'm not really dumping on him. He just can't defend
Yeah.
until
And I remember,
I
Gary,
think
I remember the first time when we signed Zinchenko, I told you of my brother in law, the text that he had sent me. A very, very good player going forward, but very suspect defending. Switches off at times. That's what my brother in law told me two seasons ago now. BX Gunner said Zinchenko needs to be more aggressive and demand more guarantees when moving to his next club. We don't know if he's gonna leave this summer. It doesn't look like he's gonna leave this summer. So, Alonso, I know that you and Zinchenko have had a long and varied history together, Alonso.
yeah, especially watching with Gary on last night's game during the podcast that him and Ryan were doing. Uh, it's just a similar story, right? It seems like um, so it's like kind of annoying because, like Gary has said, every time we play against Salah, Liverpool, the past 2 years, it seems like he's been going missing. It seems like he's too busy ball chasing and kind of like leaves Megalesh on an island by himself because Zinchenko is too busy going up front to help support the offense. Instead of checking back, he's just not fast enough, or he'll lose concentration and ball watch. And he's had a habit of doing that. I remember last night when I was watching the match, both Zinchenko and Salah were talking to each other, and even after the game as well, because I don't know what they're discussing, but it's just kind of annoying because it seems like it's always someone else's fault, and Zinchenko doesn't take responsibility for that. And like you guys were saying, it's always cost us points, and at some point, Arteta has to make that move where Zinchenko's got to go, unfortunately, and I remember the hype around him coming in at Arsenal, him and Jesus, and like you guys always talk about levels. We're a level now where we're trying to beat City, but before we were just trying to get Champions League football. And at some point, Arteta has to realize that he has to cut loose on those players.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. As Gary has said before, it's all about levels in this game. Zinchenko and Jesus came to us at a point 2 seasons ago where we needed that. We needed to be told we were good enough to challenge with City, and they did the job perfectly. Zinchenko was really great in the dressing room. Jesus raised the levels so that we can compete with City. But now, if we're truly going to beat City, Zinchenko and Jesus need to be squad players. Need to be the types of players who can rotate in. Moss said people love dumping on Alexander Zinchenko. I thought that he played fine and well. I don't know, Moss. I have to disagree. In that position, left back, he was under pressure from Mo Salah for most of the night, and Mo Salah probably took it easy on him after he got his goal because it is a preseason game. The mess was Jacob and Gabriel, not a good center back combo,
that's
and
the first time he's played center back.
Kivior.
I don't think. He's played left back more than he's played center back. So it may not be a good. He is. He's never played in our system enough, like right now, for us to even know whether it's going to work. But he's played left back a lot more than he has center back. So
Yeah.
that's for me. It's a hard to judge that one because it starts with a player getting run on. So I don't know.
And then yeah, exactly, Gary. And then we had Jada trying to be physical with one of our defenders as well. Gabriella and Kiwi are more at fault, I would say, for goals. But I always have would always have.
That cannot. There, Moss, you are lying to yourself if you think what Salah did to Zinchenko isn't the reason why they got a goal. If you take a world-class player and you give him all that space and allow him to run on your shoulder like that, and you're not at blame, the defense that's behind you is. Come on, come on, you know
Yeah,
better than
I
that.
mean,
Come on, Moss. Maybe the second one, we had too many players standing around watching that. But the first one, come on,
I
come
love
on. I
I
mean,
love that Moss is. Listen, we always say there's a player in there, but I think is it fair to be playing Zinchenko as a defender in the defensive position? It's probably not fair to the player.
he's given up on Zinny. That's why he doesn't. He's like, that's just Zinny being Zinny. He's gonna get
Yeah.
run on like that.
Yeah. We love
Think about it.
Zinchenko.
He's whenever Salah sees Zinchenko in the lineup, what do you think he does? He gets his napkin and his forks out. He's ready to eat, man.
He tucks his napkin right there between his shirt and his chest, right? Rule said, I think Zinny's game time will be less. True, unless he can force himself in a rotational manner into midfield, I would say.
Right.
Rule
Zinchenko is going to captain for the Papa John's Cup.
for what? What cup?
The Papa John's Cup.
Papa John's Cup.
He's going to captain that side, man.
It is preseason, and coach said we will be evolving. Yeah, but we've seen this before, Raul. And what scares me is that Arteta would think about doing this in the Premier League against the top 6 team again. That's what scares me. I really hope that last night's exercise was an exercise in what
he is
not
behind Saka as a left back, and it would take pigs flying to put Saka at left back. That's how far behind he is right now. We have so many players that can play left back.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
Come on.
Did somebody say that? Okay.
No, I'm
yes.
saying it. I'm just saying it.
Yeah. Tiger and Gunners joined us as well. So yeah, Lawrence, I think you've already voiced it's unfair. Do you think it's fair to Zinchenko to put him in that position, Lawrence?
No, it's obvious he is not comfortable playing there.
Yeah.
And it affects his confidence, and why Arteta persists in sticking him there. I have no idea. If you buy a Rolls Royce, right, and you try and put in an engine for a Reliant Robin into it, it's not going to run, is it?
No. Yeah.
And so this is what Arteta. It just doesn't work. The man can't defend to save his life. He's got Kivior. Why he couldn't put Kivior at left back last night and partner somebody else with Gabriel, or put somebody else at left back, play one of the kids at left back.
Yeah.
It just defies law. And this is what pisses me off about Arteta, because he does the same thing what Wenger did by putting square pegs into round holes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Playing for Poland and playing for Arsenal are not the same, Moss. They're not. It's not the same.
Yeah, and look, you would say that a top team in the Premier League is probably that Liverpool team could probably beat the Polish team in a game. You know what I mean? So the standards are slightly higher there as well.
And you know what? He's probably not used to like Zinchenko just doing that, because usually he's playing left back, and I think he'll do a better job.
But Ray, if we need 3 points next season against Liverpool, and it's vital that we get a victory, you're not going to stick Zinchenko at left back, are you now?
No. But I thought that against Aston Villa, and I told the guys here against Aston Villa, we went back to Jesus up top, and we went back to Zinchenko at left back. Those two players that we're talking about in a top six game at home with 7 games to go in the Premier League with the run in. And we just, with that defeat, it was a crushing defeat that handed the initiative back to Man City. And they did not look back, unfortunately. Till the end
And this
of the
is
season.
down to Arteta. This is down to Arteta.
Yeah.
Because he what's the word? He overthinks things.
Yeah.
You know, keep things the way they are.
Yeah. And look,
You know,
the evidence there is the Aston Villa game, which was a critical game, 7 games from the end of the season. But I do hope that this was just a preseason game where they took the fitness into account more than the result. You know what I mean? Rule has said Zinchenko's first season had Xhaka doing his cleanup. Here's a question from Philip Bidwell. You need to be asking the question, is Arteta good enough to be your manager if you fail to win a trophy this season? Yeah, but you've asked that question about Jurgen Klopp, and you stuck with him. I think you might be a Liverpool fan there, Philip. You stuck with Jurgen Klopp, and you believed that he was going to win things for you in the end. We have to be in that process as well. But I would have to say, Gary, at the end of this season, if we don't win a trophy, serious questions would have to be asked.
For me, there's got to be context as well. So we still need to be able to compete in 4 fronts, and we can't do that. We haven't shown that yet. So as a squad, we're not deep enough to compete on 4 fronts. And I think the only way the squad gets better is if we can compete on 4 fronts, because you never know which trophy you're going to get. But if you can't spread, if you can't compete on 4 fronts, I don't think, you never know which one you're going to get already.
Yep.
But now you don't have the depth, because you can see, I feel like teams that go deep in the domestic cups have depth, right? Right. Or they put all their eggs in one basket, right? I mean,
like
Manchester United winning a trophy. Like if you look at that Coventry game, if that was Arsenal, no way would they have not called a handball. They would call that handball. No doubt about it. I still remember it. That game, Coventry should have won, right? Every call was either missed or went against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, we've not been that lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I just, I guess I'm probably a little salty with that, but I kind of feel like we need to have the depth, because that's what kills us. I think sometimes is we don't have the depth, and that's why, we don't have the answers coming off the bench in some scenarios, or when we go to our depth, it's not what Arteta wants to do anyways, and you can see it on the pitch.
Yeah.
right.
Go ahead, Lawrence.
Yeah, sorry. No, if we end up potless after this season, it's over for him. This is the 5th year of this process, and we've only won 1 trophy during his reign. And I don't care what anyone says. If he sacrifices the domestic cup competitions again, if we get knocked out the Champions League and we blow it again in the title race, he's got to go, right? We can't keep going through this season after season after season. He's got to deliver this season, and if he doesn't deliver this season, on your bike.
Right. And that's why we're Arsenal fans.
There's no sentiment in football. I'm sick and tired of people saying, "Oh well, he used to play for us." He wasn't that. He was not that much of a player for us when he played for us. His time has got to come. If he does not land us a trophy this season, show him the door, get him a taxi, get him out of the club.
Yeah. All right. And that's why we're Arsenal Fan Circle, because we have different quadrants with different views on things. And, we won't make the decision at the end of the season. It'll be the club that will make the decision. We're just here living our lives through Arsenal. Moss said agendas need to agenda. This is just our opinions, Moss. It's not an agenda. It's what we see, and it's Zinchenko. Fan base blinders on when it comes to
You
Zinchenko.
must really like then. You like Nketiah as well, then, right? Is that right? You must like Nketiah, and you know.
I
Come on.
love Zinchenko, but you gotta sometimes take him away. We did this with
And
Granit
everybody else's defensive problem, not
Yeah,
his.
yeah, we did
Yeah.
it with Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka was put
Hey, think
in
about it.
positions.
Remember when Tavares was playing, was it left back, and I
Yeah,
was having a tough time? What
yeah,
Arteta did? He won't do that to Zinchenko because he likes him. All right.
yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
is the difference between what Tavares has done and what Zinchenko has done?
Yeah,
We've dropped points because of his poor
exactly.
play.
Good
So for me,
evening, Mr.
it's
Lena.
not. It's and that's a young manager doing things like not being ruthless consistently.
Yeah,
Don't you find it strange that Nketiah is now 25 years old? Is the longest serving member of the first team squad, and he can't cement a spot in the first team.
and look,
And the club are trying to get rid of him, and they keep turning down the offers from other clubs. I just find that so strange. It tells me that Nketiah has no determination. He doesn't want to move on. He's quite happy picking up a paycheck at the club, even though he can't get a spot in the first team.
and the difference between Eddie and Kadia, who has had many chances over the last 3-4 seasons, and listen, Emil Smith Rowe, who's had injuries. I agree, he's had injuries, but has
Roll.
not.
We were complaining last year when he played against the same Liverpool team, and we saw what happened. We complained against the Aston Villa game. He also had a little. He wasn't up to par there either. I believe he played in that
Eddie,
game. So
talk about Eddie.
no, Zinchenko.
Oh, Zinchenko.
Eddie
Yeah,
late in the season didn't get much playing time, and that's Arteta showing us kind of where he
right.
feel where he sits with him in terms of
As
confidence in him.
is this for Rose comment here? Arteta was providing game time for all the players in the roles. We kind of complain about him playing Zinni in preseason. If he plays Zinni against certain teams in the
Yeah,
Premier League,
we definitely were complaining
then
about that.
yeah, it's. I think you can also help the player rule. That's my opinion. Don't play him as a defender, then he doesn't get exposed against Mo Salah in a left back position, where he can turn in on our. He can get to our central defenders then. So that pass, Alonso cuts out one of our defenders, and then Salah is through on Zinchenko. Zinchenko's out of position, and Salah is able to then. We know what Salah can do in that position, Alonso.
Yeah, he's done it far too often throughout the years. Zinchenko, no matter where he's on the pinch, he's going to get burnt. And, again, Megalash is off on an island trying to defend Salah, and Salah scores. And, we've seen it far too often that, Zinchenko's, like I said, too busy ball watching. And, he doesn't have enough pace now to try to defend Salah because of the play before that. So, to me, one player I always look out for is how Zinchenko is defending, especially during big games.
Mm.
And most likely or not, he's going to get beat no matter who the winger is. So, why Arteta continues to play him, thinking that he's going to get better or learn from his mistakes is kind of a waste of time.
Yeah,
And it's kind of discouraging if you're an Arsenal fan knowing that there's different options on the bench. And last year we even asked ourselves, why is Kivior getting benched over Zinchenko when all Zinchenko does is seem like he makes mistakes. And that's the issue for Arteta is like he always plays players, no matter how much game time they've missed. Boom, they're already in a certain lineup, ready to play again. To me, I always thought that you had to earn back your starting position. And it seems like Arteta favors, again, certain players to get playing time or starting time over the last one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And as Moss said, we do have Timber, Calafiori coming in now, Tomiyasu, and Lewis Skelly as well. So, yeah, maybe my hot take of seeing Zinchenko in midfield could be something we see this season. Somebody said earlier that Zinchenko will probably get sold next summer, which is probably true. Moss says it's preseason, it's practice. And while I take all of that on hand, it's still kind of annoying to, not see the team compete strongly enough against Liverpool and only have 2 shots on target all game. It's not good enough as well because a lot of people did pay for tickets as well and wanted to go and experience their team winning as well. So
I'm glad I'm
Lawrence.
glad I didn't go out there because somebody offered me a ticket to go out there. I'm glad I didn't go because I've been fuming.
Poland at the European Champs is a high standard, and Jakob did well. He was never a left back. That's I think the move now in the top level of Premier League is to buy centre backs that you can dot across your 4 positions, your 4 defensive positions. You could say Ben White is a hybrid centre back, right back. And you could maybe say the same thing for Kiwior. They will have strengths, whether it's left back or left centre back. We've yet to see Calafiori, whether he's going to be better as a centre back or a left back. El Neni and Egypt beat España at the Olympics. There's no more players from the Wenger era now. So are we to take it that Nketiah has? I mean, that move is all but about to happen, right? Is that what we're taking?
Excuse me. I mean, when Nketiah made his debut for Arsenal under Wenger, so don't give me that crap saying there's no more players from the Wenger area at our club because there's one.
Is it Eddie?
And
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Right. And
yeah,
maybe Michael.
He's been at part of the first team for 7 years.
Right.
So whoever put that post up doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, maybe Michael's saying that Eddie's going to be on his way. You know what I mean?
Are you counting that game against Norwich when he scored twice at Lawrence?
I'm sorry?
Do you count that game against Norwich as the first team football when he came on?
Yeah,
and
but the thing is, Alonso, what has he done since then? Yeah, he scored a hat-trick against Sheffield United. I could have done that.
One of them was outside the box.
I'm going to say this again. I've seen more skillful players with beer guts play at Hackney Marshes on a Sunday morning in November than Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah.
And he's getting he's getting 10 grand a week for doing what? Sitting on the bench.
100 grand a week.
Whatever it is, 100 grand a week. Sorry. He's crap. I'm sorry. He's crap.
Lawrence,
he's not a Premier League player.
Right.
He's not a striker.
Lawrence, it looks like it's 17 million with some add-ons, Lawrence. Are you happy to take the money now with Eddie, or would you like to push it over 20?
I'd get rid of him. I don't know if it's a question that he doesn't want to leave the club or that the club are overpricing him, but we just got to get him out of the club. I'm sorry. He's of no use to us whatsoever.
Right. And maybe teams know that. Maybe teams know that we want to offload these players.
Fulham and Crystal Palace have been putting bids in for him.
Should we wait for the Premier League? Should we wait a bit longer and attract the Premier League team to take him?
We have things to do. We can't be dragging our feet. We need to move.
That's the answer.
We need to bring players in so we can move. We can't Nah.
Take the 17, Gary.
take whatever we get for him and move on. I know, like it's he needs to go so he can go play some football. All right. Arsenal
Yeah.
has other plans. They need to increase their depth. They need to figure out that's going to happen sooner. That needs to happen sooner than later. We need to bring our players in that we want to, that Arteta's going to play. All right. Somebody said we don't need any more passengers. I mean, like Cedric and El Neni, it was
But
good to keep them
EX,
on, but they weren't. They
yeah.
were just taking up a spot that could have went to maybe a potential academy player or another player that they maybe could have gotten a free or something like that. So you never know.
So
where that-
Arsenal start the bidding at 50, and we'll take 17.
50. Yeah, that was that. Yeah, 50. What? 50. Like, think about it. Sesko was 50.
Yeah.
Sesko was 50. He starts for his country, right?
Yeah.
That's what Sesko was, right? So,
I mean, Ray, what's he gonna do if he's 27, 28 years old and he's still at Arsenal and he still can't get a spot in the first team? His career will have been over by then.
Yeah. Are we thinking about Arsenal here or thinking about the player? You know what I mean?
he needs to go and play football. He's
Yeah.
not getting it at Arsenal.
Okay.
So that's number one. He's not going to get football at Arsenal.
yeah.
He's not getting football at Arsenal. And you know what? He doesn't even look like he wants it.
Yeah.
Like I know
And
he's got pace on him, and he comes in, and I complain about it all the time. It's like he's jogging out there.
Yes. I
When
saw
he
a little
was
bit
thinking
of
about it,
jogging.
remember on his contract year? Remember how he played in that Chelsea match?
Yeah.
Remember that match?
Yeah.
Late in the season, or like not late in the season, late in the year.
2
It was
goals.
like Christmas time or whatever. 2
Yeah.
goals. Why did he get those 2 goals? A lot of effort. He put a lot of pressure on the back
Pace,
line.
pressure.
We've never seen that again. I go back to
apart
it every
from
time. Show me when he's done that again consistently.
Leeds. He got 2
Right.
goals against Leeds a little bit later in that
Yeah.
season. Yeah.
No, that was in a contract year. After he got his contract, when did you see it again?
Only Sheffield United, right?
And that's not even, we don't count that.
No.
Like, was that actually him working hard,
Championship.
attacking the back line? Or was that him just in good positions? Like for me, I'm talking about the effort plays where you're putting pressure on the back line and you're taking the ball off of them and stuff like that and making things happen. That's kind of where I thought, he was going to continue to do that.
Cool. BX makes a good point here. Eddie wants to leave. It is maybe Reece Nelson that's not ambitious, and they will stay at Arsenal. I think we'll have Reece here by the end.
He
of
looks more ambitious to me than Eddie. Like when he plays football for Arsenal.
Ray? You know what, Ray?
Yeah.
I thought Nelson was our best player over the 3 games.
Who?
Most consistent over the 3 games,
Reece Nelson. I
Reece
thought
Nelson?
he was I thought he was outstanding against Man United, and he had a good game against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
He showed us the player that he was hyped up to be.
Yeah.
And you got the assist, right? The assist in the United game.
Right.
Out of him and Nketiah, which one do you want to keep? I'd keep Nelson.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Alonso, 17 million. I go a little bit more or take the money?
I guess, Arsenal value Eddie more than 17 million. I guess Eddie wants to leave now and get a new challenge at Marseille. It depends really on Eddie and Arsenal. I think Arsenal want a little bit more. But those 17 million is a bargain from Marseille. So, at this point, if Arsenal are desperate enough, they'd get rid of him by now. But I feel like Marseille are interested. Hopefully that they'll want to pay more if they really want Eddie. But yeah, I mean, I think Arsenal have to move on at some point. Hoping it's sooner than later, so Arsenal can get a move on with their plans to get a new striker. But again, I remember the hype around Eddie. I just hope that he'd be more motivated to do more and do better. It hadn't worked out. and I think Eddie needed to move on for his own sake.
Yeah, in Marseille as well. This is an interesting rule said. I wonder if anyone else feels. I kind of feel this way sometimes. Arteta will put players in these positions to show them up,
That's just
get them
mean.
gone.
It's mean because, as you said, you're setting him up to fail, and he fails. So what's the what are you proving there?
Trying to get
If
them
that
gone, Gary.
if that was an academy, well, he's not going to get. What potential suitors are looking at that going? Yes, let's bring in Zinchenko. Like you can't be. No, come on. That's not how you sell something, right? That's like trying to sell your car. You know that the
We
wheels fall off
hope
when you
that's
hit
not the
55 and
strategy.
you're like pushing at 60. I mean, no, you don't do that, right?
We
You don't if you're gonna put him in the shop window, you don't show all the negative parts of his game.
yeah. We
Put him
hope
in a
that is not the
situation where he can be
strategy.
successful if you're trying to sell him, right? Playing
Yeah.
against Salah is not a recipe for success in
No, it
terms
is
of
not.
the transfer.
No. Zinchenko's done lots for us, but yeah, won't be playing anymore. Won't be playing too much. Eddie wants Marseille, I've been hearing. So yeah, let's get 17, 20 million hopefully. Moss, where we're going, there's no room for passengers. BX Gunner is right. We need to free up some spots to raise the levels within the squad. Uh, Third string and try to sell, but need buyers. The brace against Man United was great, and Eddie's hat trick was superb. I'm not going to knock it. Michael said, making room for another striker. We hope so. Colonel Ward's in the house. Welcome, Colonel. Uh, he is going. We are just trying to get as much as possible. Yeah. And I do feel that Arsenal sometimes get bargained down a little bit when we're selling, and the price goes up just a little bit more when we're buying. So we get squeezed on both sides of the market, I think. Eddie was a Tony's academy kid when Wenger was in charge. He came off the bench in the
Yeah.
League Cup against Norwich. Yeah. Rule said we have to be patient. Yeah, there's 2.5 more weeks till the start of the season. Um, and that's as patient as we can be. Eddie Reese need to be moved on, just like Emil Smith Rowe was moved on.
It's
We're going to
weird.
talk.
Like I don't even realize. Like did was there a notification that ASR was sold? Like I felt like I
Yeah,
just missed it.
wow. I think we missed it, but definitely it was 27 million, Gary, plus some add-ons. It might get to about 33, 34 million if he meets all of the add-ons for Emil Smith Rowe. So yeah, I definitely want to talk about Emil Smith Rowe for a little bit as well. Um, Gary, it does seem I would have liked to have a little bit more for Emil Smith Rowe, but that's what we got from Fulham, 27 million plus 6 or 7 in add-ons.
I think availability and minutes played have a lot to do with it. I mean, and the potential for things to get better are really slim, right? He's healthy and he doesn't play. He's injured, right? So for the
Yeah,
last year and a half, so it's been like that. So I don't know. At some point you gotta move on. I would have liked him. He played really well right up until that. He got that injury. Um,
yeah,
I mean, he came off the bench, scored in like 3 or 5 or 4 or 5 games or something like that. We
yeah.
never saw that
I've got
again.
it listed. I got it listed here in that season, 2020 to 21, where I think we just missed out on top four in that situation. Scored against the Watford in the 56-minute 1-0 win. Scored against Leicester City, and then we saw him famously scoring in the North London derby, where he and Saka were talking about that. Wouldn't it be great if we combined uh, in the documentary to score and win the game? And they did win it 3-1 in the North London derby. Then he went on to score the final goal against Villa in 55 minutes and a 3-1 win. He was in a rich vein of form, sometimes coming off the bench as well. 87-minute goal versus West Ham That was his sixth of that season. 78-minute a goal versus Leeds United. Tom, cover yours right now, Tom. Odegaard playing a nice ball forward for him and hitting it on the volley. We even remember it, Gary Alonso Lawrence. He would come off the bench and would the ball would just drop to him against Norwich City. Pepe had a shot, rebounded, fell right into Emile Smith-Rowe's path. He was in a rich training form, scored there, and then scored. That was all leading up to the game against Man City on New Year's Day, where Arsenal probably played one of their best games against City in recent years as well. The Brentford goal, 2-1. We remember the two goals against Chelsea twice. One in a 1-0 win and a 4-2 win. So, Emile Smith-Rowe is a player where did he get his time at Arsenal? Did he get enough? Did he fulfill his dream? I think he, for a young kid coming through the academy, Alonso.
I mean,
Injuries,
I thought
right?
I thought so that 2020, 21-22 season, he was on his way to becoming a star, in my opinion. But after that season, there was so much hype around if he could improve or he could make a statement to that first 11. And the number 10 shirt, we all thought that he was on his way. Unfortunately, he got hurt and he never really got back on the starting 11. And it was so hard for him. And Arteta had a big part in that too. He doesn't really trust players that are always hurt, and he doesn't think that he make a difference. And you saw glimpses last year. It shows that one game he got man in a match, and unfortunately that was not enough. And in a way, I feel bad for him because he could never really, come back on again and come back, continue that great run he had a few years ago now. So it's a shame it didn't work out because there were some people who thought that he could become better than Saka at some point. And that'd been great, and he also made an England team as well on some occasions. So, it just was a shame it didn't work out, and maybe being at Fulham will be a good thing for him, and I hope he succeeds. And when he does play against us, I hope he takes it easy on us. I'm rooting for him, other than him playing against Arsenal. But best of luck to him.
Yeah, BX kind of said, I honestly feel Fulham threw 35 million down the drain buying ESR. I think it's pretty good money actually. I will say for 35 million, you got a player who can be very effective in the Premier League if he stays injury free. Lawrence said, some people say don't be sad that it's over. Be happy that it happened, and we got to see Emile Smith-Rowe come through the academy and play with Bukayo Saka, the two players that came through from childhood through Arsenal.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. As I said in my interview on AFTV the other week, when him and Saka were bombing down that left flank, it put the shit up the opponents.
Yeah.
Because they were so lethal together. They were in sync with each other. And I thought we were going to see the makings of two great superstars. And unfortunately, because of injuries, his career has been put on the shelf.
Curtailed,
curtailed, yeah. And it's, he needs game time because he wants to get into the England team. He needs game time, and he's gone to a club that has got an Arsenal old boy community there that he's going to be with Iwobi and William.
Yeah.
So I wish him all the best. I never met him. He sounds like a nice kid.
Yeah.
I wish him all the best.
Yeah.
And good luck to him.
Yeah, exactly. I wish all the best as well. He's gone to a club that I have no particular dislike for, apart from when they take points off of us. And that was last season, so let's hope that doesn't happen.
It's
Gary, yeah,
it's unfortunate he didn't go to Crystal Palace because everyone nicknamed him the Croydon De Bruyne.
yeah,
Crystal Palace are the local club to Croydon.
yeah. He would have been going back
As I said,
home. Yeah,
yeah, but as I say, good luck to him and all the best.
yeah, absolutely. Gary, what are your thoughts on Emil Smith Rowe? I, for one, I'll be watching his progress this season and how he's doing at Fulham.
Yeah, no, it's it is disappointing that it didn't work out for him.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I don't think it's anything Arsenal did. I just think it's things you deal with as a player. Injuries come, or timely injuries that affect you significantly, and they did for him. Club has moved on a lot. He's still trying to get involved in the club now. So yeah, but, for, as I said, like for the three academy players, they need football, and they're not going to get enough of it at Arsenal right now. The way we sit,
Yeah,
you're
like
going to have to be pretty good, a special player. He's not got that. He hasn't rekindled that yet. He needs more minutes somewhere else, and that's why he really needed to kind of go on loan to go and get the minutes that he needed to see if he's got it still. I'll get it now, Fulham. I assume they will allow him to fight for a spot, legitimately fight for a spot.
yeah.
Hopefully
There's
it works
real,
out for him.
as you've alluded to, Gary, and as Rule has said, the team will evolve from Emil Smith Rowe, will evolve from Eddie if he leaves, will evolve from Reece Nelson if he leaves as well. Michael said the bar is high now. This is the pivotal season for where we go in the future. Yeah, and it's got to be season, as we said earlier, for trophies. Here we go, Zaka and Mick Merino. You know, so let's hope we see partnerships forming now with these players, Calafiori and Merino. BX said, I can't see Emil Smith Rowe making more than 75 appearances for Fulham in the next 3 or 4
If he
years.
does that, that would be really good.
20
Not
games,
getting
25
enough.
games a season.
Yeah, I think right now that would be really good for him actually. So I kind of feel like that's not a bad deal for where he is, where he's come from.
Sometimes a change of scenery, going to a different club and getting your fitness reassessed with a new personality, a new fitness coach could actually do the wonders for a player. Not saying that we're bad in that department, but they may look at some other things in his regimen. You know, um, we getting more than 70 million for Eddie. I bet you, yeah. So some people are saying upwards of 24, 25 million. Emil Smith Rowe joins Wilshire and Diaby on the what if shelf. I think that's a lot of players at Arsenal. They don't always reach their full potential. You could say the same about Joe Willock. What happened to Joe Willock since that purple patch he had on loan at Newcastle a few years ago? Brownie's in the house. All right, lads. Hope you're all well. I hope you're doing well, Brownie. We have to cut players that don't make the cut sooner rather than later. Yeah, and we're trying to sweep out the last remnants of players that are not going to take us to the promised land. And it's tough and it's harsh, but you got to move some of these players on in order for us to progress, because you only get 20, 25 spots in the squad on any one game day. And you only get 19 players in an actual match day as well. I think it's 11 players plus 9, so 20 spots. The injury he had has killed Emil Smith Rowe's career at the top end of the Premier League. Yeah, and listen, I don't know if he can go up the leagues from Fulham after this. Keeping Eddie for 5 years is criminal. I think we did it though, right? Somebody needs to be charged. I thought we should have put in a buyback clause for Middlesbrough Rowe. That would have been a decent shout, Michael. A Middlesbrough Rowe is a modern day Jack Wilshere. Um, Also, Eduardo da Silva. Yeah, definitely. Alonso. One area had better be a squad player this season. So, Alonso, we saw in one area showing up again, coming on, playing well. And this looks like a player who can be impactful this season and break through into uh, the spot that we need him to.
Yeah, and like there've been a couple of players from the academy that have really caught our eyes and in the past, and I think Inuari is one of those players that he has a knack for being in games like preseason games where he can show off his talent. I'm curious to see if he could do that in a Premier League game and do it on a constant basis because it seems like he's in the wings now to be sort of a backup or even third string player playing in League Cup games or even in FA Cup games. And sometimes you get a player that comes along the ranks at Arsenal and kind of propels their career with just one game. And I'm looking forward to seeing how many games Newari gets and seeing how he performs. I think, yeah, like I said, before that he has a good player in front of him in Udegaard, and so he has a good mentor in that perspective.
Yeah.
And I can't to see how he does this year.
Yeah, Lawrence. There's teams in the Premier League that have these kind of players. Man United have Kobe Mainoo. Liverpool may have that kid Bradley at right back. But at Arsenal, we could probably point to one area as maybe going to be that player this season. One to look out for, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we've got several. I mean, I was impressed by some of the kids as well. Heaven looked quite good as well.
Yeah.
And there was another one with his name was
Kelly.
Salah as well.
Miles
Salah.
Salah, he looked good. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked good as well. So I mean, I think the future looks bright for us in regards to the academy. We know we've got players in the academy that are going to work their way through to the first team.
Yeah. As Rose said, if you're playing against best team in the world, you have to have at least 18 starters, not 14, Gary. So maybe we can boost it up to about 18, 19 this season of players who...
If you think about it, like last season, we had probably about the 14, right? But then that's not including, for me, Timber, Calafiori, and if Merino comes in, that's another 3 right there, right?
Yeah.
As far as starters go. So I think one more player is going to come in, and if that's an attacker, that have to be somebody that can start for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I said earlier this season we're going to go sign some players, but also we need to boost our numbers with academy players, Gary. And you're seeing that with Ethan Waneri right now.
Yep. Yeah. No, he has looked good. Even last preseason, he looked good to me. It looked the same. Nothing's changed for me on what he looks like when he plays.
Some
with
other
team shirt on.
Yeah.
He's looked really good, and he got the assist right in the United game.
Yep.
So I think, he's coming along. I don't know. He's gonna get.
We always say if you're good enough, you're old enough, Gary.
Yep. Yeah. He just needs more time, and hopefully Arteta will give him that, especially maybe in the cup matches or to close out some games to get him some minutes on a Premier League pitch. Actually, he's only got 5 minutes or something like that. So yeah.
I thought Carl Hein was good as well last night.
He's been consistent throughout the entire thing. So I would say he's been a bit of a surprise. I don't know if that's going to keep him on the squad or not, but he's looked better than I thought he would.
Yeah. we're going to have to see what happens with the goalkeeper in the next 2 or 3 weeks. With David Raya is coming back soon. Ramsdale will be coming back soon. And we'll see what happens with Ramsdale's future. Surely something has to happen with Ramsdale before the window shuts, and it might go to close to the end of this month, actually. Right, Alonso? Is it going to be the 31st when the window closes?
Yeah.
So 31 days of Ramsdale speculation incoming.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that want him right now for some reason, and maybe that's the price tag on him. Maybe it's just they want people alone. Like I said before, I think it was on Sunday that maybe Nottingham Forest may want him on a loan deal. So unfortunately, like I think Gary had mentioned in the past, we don't play our players enough to where they'll get value by the other clubs that want them, or they don't get enough playing time to where other teams will want to look for them. So last year, I think Ramsdale kind of took a big loss in that perspective, where he doesn't even play for England. So I think it's a big hit or miss for Ramsdale, unfortunately, because nobody has seen him play in a long time. So as it's a risk, I think, for other clubs that will want to invest in him. So I think a loan will be the most obvious choice, with the obligation to buy, of course. But right now, there's not a lot of buzz for Ramsdale, unfortunately.
Yeah. I just can't see a situation where Ramsdale is at the club getting cup games this season. I just can't see that happening, Michael. I think Ramsdale, there will be a situation evolving for Ramsdale in the next 4 weeks, I would say. I could easily seeing it going into where we start playing Premiership football, Premier League football, and Ramsdale is the second choice goalkeeper. And maybe even not in the squad if there is a situation where a club is interested in taking him. I just can't see Ramsdale sitting on the bench. Tiger and Gooder said it was good to see you talk on AFTV, Lawrence, and I think you were on twice, right? There's 2 videos out there.
Once.
All right. Okay. Moss said, as a manager these days, Brandy, you're cooked if you do and cooked if you don't. Don't lose situations. Lose situations always for Arteta. Will Havertz score 20 plus this season? If we play 60 games and we're playing in 4 competitions, as Gary said, into March and April, it's very possible he could get 20 goals across all competitions, but I would not put him down for 20 in the Premier League. Let me just say that much.
How many didn't he score? How many did he score in the Premier League this past season?
About 12, I think it was something like 12.
So that's with half of the games at midfield, right?
Yep.
So and we expect him to improve. We expect him to be more comfortable in the position. And look at it. Look what he did yesterday, right? He's playing midfield, and I don't like him playing midfield because I think that takes away from what he brings. But he was defensively solid. He was coming back and supporting and taking balls off of the attackers and stuff. And then he actually scored, put himself in a position to score. Right.
So Gary, you're saying there's a chance, Gary.
No, he's playing like that. There's no guessing in this. You've seen him play. He's scoring goals. What the team's going to get better. That should put him in more positions to score.
Right.
We're expecting the team to improve. We've been improving every year on year, right? The only way he won't score 20. The only reason why I don't see maybe 20 in all comps, because if we do bring in a striker, maybe that striker will take away minutes, significant minutes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Rose said if Hein improves on handling crosses, he could be the next Martinez. I'm not quite sure about the height. There might be a height difference. I mean, Martinez seems to be a bit taller, but Hein is definitely coming forward as being competent and played really well playing out from the back, was involved in the interplay as we tried to play out from the back. Let's be honest, if any of us were manager earning a few million quid per year and our family's relying on your income, then you're really going to risk. Then are you really going to risk a youngster in for a proven first teamer? No way. Hein was good. You need to give players time to settle down in the team. One other notable player I have to mention is Odegaard. He was everywhere and he was fantastic yesterday. I think we're really going to see the benefit of him not being involved in a European competition and having some rest and having a good preseason. I would put Odegaard as being one of the players that we could see off the blocks pretty quickly and scoring some goals in the first few games of the season. Um, the things I saw him do with the ball, I know it was a preseason game against Liverpool. The intensity is not quite what you would expect in a Premier League game, but honestly, he was amazing, and I thought he played really, really well. Um, anyone else want to speak on Odegaard yesterday or in this preseason?
No, he needs to get back to that like 15 goal season that he had.
Yeah.
He should be easily a 10-10 player
Yeah.
for us. He didn't get that last season, so that's what I would be expecting from him this time around.
Right.
Of course, he had a whole summer to just stew in it, so hopefully he does take more shots because he needs to do that. I think he's one of the best shot takers we've got.
Yeah.
He doesn't shoot.
Yeah.
Puts himself
Tony
in
is. Go ahead, Gary. Sorry. Doesn't shoot.
No, I just like I said, I just think Erdegaard will continue to improve and be maybe competing with Sacco on the GA, top GA for the
Up
team.
there again.
He should be.
In the same way that Havertz, I'm going to go to you, Alonso. I know you had something to say. In the same way that Havertz was held back last season playing in midfield, and we didn't see the full effect of his skill set. Odegaard was probably held back for the same mechanism of trying to get Havertz into the team. So we should see Odegaard getting back to those goals and assists that we had before. Alonso, what have you got?
Yeah, I think, like Gary had said, the season before last, Uruguay had a lot of goals being scored, and I think last year he was more of an assist man, trying to get everyone involved, and he had some pretty nice goals, but they weren't just the same as last year. And to me, it seemed like he was off to a slow start last year because of Kai Havertz. Being a different number 8, and I think that's where I think Udegaard's talents were kind of sacrificed because Arteta was trying to somehow fit Havertz in, and we all saw how that panned out. And I think once Declan Rice got next to him as a partnership, playing double eights, I think Udegaard's game got better as the Declan Rice's, and Havertz playing a striker really benefited everyone, it seems like. So, yeah, I expect the same thing happen this year. And I think once we get Merino in, I think things will open up better for Udegaard and Rice as well. So, yeah, just looking forward to seeing how Udegaard adapts to Merino if and when we get him. And because to me, Havertz isn't the answer at the number 8, at the left side number 8. So, yeah, it seems like Arteta has to figure it out again, and hopefully this time Havertz can start the season at the number 9 position.
Yeah,
and let Udegaard do his job.
Well, here's how I see it, and maybe it doesn't happen this way, but Calafiori comes in, which forces Zinchenko into midfield, which forces Havertz closer to that number 9 position, and maybe
Why
I'm
is Zinchenko playing for this team that you are imagining?
I'm not going to start him, Gary, but he's going to play.
So why is he even mentioned? California is starting. It's not pushing into midfield. It's pushing him to the bench.
Listen, when we're playing Man City, do I want Zinchenko playing at the Etihad? No, I do not. I want Calafiori in there, Timber
Calafiori,
in
you
there.
have Tomiyasu if he recovers. You've got Timber if
Yeah.
he's back in form. Like you've got three players there. And worst case scenario, right? What's the worst case scenario?
The worst
Saka.
case scenario, left
It's
back,
Saka. Yeah, it's Saka.
Saka.
That's
Yeah.
how bad it
But
has to be that we
how
were
many?
willing to,
All right, Gary. For Zinchenko, how many games, if we play 60 games this season, how many games would you give Zinchenko?
10 to 15.
10 to 15.
And
That's
those
fair.
a lot of those would be some of those would be the
Subs.
domestic cups and stuff, and
Right.
um,
Yeah.
maybe
All right.
maybe on a busy week he gets to play.
That, that is fair. And that's kind of what I was intending. And not, I'm not speaking first 11 by pushing Zinchenko ahead of Rice or Merino or Odegaard. Uh, Philip said, football or branding, how would a manager know if a youngster is good enough if he doesn't give them a chance, but they have to pick the right game, though? So, yeah, that's a good question. How do you know that a player's ready? Well, I think in our situation, Mikel Arteta would be communicating with Per Mertesacker, right? Is that how everyone else sees it here? You have a situation where you talk to your academy, the whoever runs the academy, you have a conversation, you have a close relationship, and you keep yourself informed about these players that are available, and you bring them in. You wouldn't bring an academy player onto your substitute bench without actually knowing something about their ability, right? First, you have to
Sure.
know about their ability, then you have to give them a chance on the field. That's kind of how I see it. Lawrence, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree
How
with you on that.
how does Mikel Arteta become informed about the academy players? Does he see them himself? Does he rely on Per Mertesacker's judgment?
Well, I assume he gets reports from the coaches of the academy staff,
Yeah,
and he goes and watches a few games
yeah.
for himself.
That's how I would do it as well. And then you know about Ethan Waneri, who in the last 2 seasons he's had some entrances into the first team.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, he looks very promising indeed. I think he's going to be a major star for us this coming season.
yeah, and as Gary said, like I know we were talking about Zinchenko, but maybe we're talking about the same kind of load for Waneri to have 10, 15 games in a season as well. You can't overload this young player too much. He's 17 going on 18, and he may have a lot of energy and a lot of legs, but he doesn't have the actual experience of playing at the top level.
Yeah,
Uh,
one person who's
We- but we can say the same thing about Saka, and he broke into the team.
yeah, yeah,
So I see another Saka here.
yeah. Gary,
no, yeah, no. I mean, you know it when you see it. I think we're seeing it. I don't think you like
yeah,
when you saw Heaven get out there, you saw him look really good, but then you saw him look like a youngster for a bit. In Wary,
yeah.
I don't feel like I've seen him like look like he's or like oh wait, well he took a step back or something like that. Skelly looked really good, then he tired, but in Wary, from what I've seen, it's been pretty consistent with his game. I mean, we're talking about the one player that needs to, we're talking about Nweri playing, behind Erdegaard, but the one player that really needs to play behind Erdegaard is Vieira. And
Yep.
I don't know about you guys, I don't feel like I've seen enough of him in preseason to feel like Arteta is going to give him enough time to get to take on that, legitimately be the guy behind
There
Erdegaard.
was there was that one situation where I played the ball into Nketiah and it was just a meter, a yard or two ahead of him. Those are the kind of situations where
Was he
Fabio
playing
Vieira
for?
needs
He
to.
wasn't playing for Uruguay though, right? He was playing a wing. Played
He's
wing. I
playing on.
thought
He
when
was
he came in.
playing around that area. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
on
Yeah.
the
I
right
like I
wing.
said,
Yeah,
he hasn't come into a game and Erdogan come out
yeah,
from what I can remember. So that's what needs to happen for us to feel like we have a backup to Erdogan if it's Fabio Vieira.
yeah.
Like I said, I
Uh,
don't think I've seen enough. Like like when is he? It's preseason. Why doesn't he get the start if he's supposed to be the
yeah,
number two, right?
yeah, yeah. And I think it's about. We need to give Martin Odegaard needs to get a little bit of a breakdown the next game or two because he's played probably a lot of minutes in these 3 games. Rose said Vieira needs to play to get his rhythm, but that will be difficult. Uh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Vieira, yeah. So Vieira just missing Eddie and Kedia. That was a situation. That was a situation where Fabio really needed to connect with Encadia. Tony Andrews and Gary shakes his head. Okay.
That's all Gary can do.
Michael
I
did
think
ask.
I think Gary needs to change his curtains.
Hey Tony,
Curtains
we
are fine,
mentioned
dude.
hey Tony,
Curtains are
we
fine.
mentioned your kids. Tony, we mentioned your kids a couple of times already today.
Yeah, we mentioned your academy kids, Tony. You might actually his box of crayons. You might actually have a box of crayons for the academy kids this year, Tony.
He has to. He doesn't have a choice.
He has to. Yeah. So Michael was wondering where you were today. Okay. But yeah, listen. We're talking about Fabio Vieira. He hasn't really made the huge impact yet in preseason, and it doesn't look like he's going to force himself into the first thoughts for Mikel Arteta around 65, 70 minutes when we need an impact player.
When you're the third year on your player, just sell him. That's what we did with our defenders / midfielders.
Yeah. Listen, I think, Tony, you might have a case there, but it's just going to be difficult to sell when we have other more obvious candidates that need to be sold ahead of Fabio Vieira, you know?
Yeah,
And
but
maybe,
he already have Pro 1 pretty much done. With 34 million for Smith Rowe. So
um, Footballer Brownie. Brownie says Arteta has many backroom staff to do their due diligence. Surely. Yeah. Do you think Mikel can't watch every game? But Arteta does watch some of the under 21s. And say hello. G'day, mate, from Sydney. Hey, Ray, I'm in Sydney, and it's first time watching you in live in daylight hours. LOL. Yeah. I've seen him at some of the under 21 games. So, yeah. Tony immediately going after Gary. The audacity. But Gary knew it was coming. Imminent attack was, imminent attack was evident. It was just going to happen. It's a matter of seconds, Gary.
Yeah, that's what Tony does. Just goes
I
after
just
me all the time, every time.
I just weaken your shell and deliver the
Oh
death
wow.
blow
Weekend what?
down your air vent.
What? What are you talking
Ray
about?
appreciates it.
I don't.
I
I think
just
he's
blew up
laughing
your
at
Death
you,
Star.
Tony. I don't think he's
I just
laughing with
blew
Yeah.
you.
up your Death Star, Gary.
Okay, the Death Star. Okay. I was laughing because I did not know what this.
Nobody knew what he was talking about.
Lawrence did.
No, no, no. Lawrence does not know what you're talking about. Lawrence
Lawrence,
thinks
Neither do
he
I.
knows.
deny
He
it.
thinks he
Deny it,
knows you, but
Lawrence.
he knows he should know better. He's no, no.
Hey
Deny it,
Tony,
Lawrence.
do you care to explain, Tony?
I explain where I was going.
All right,
Blowing
Yeah.
up
Tony.
Gary's Death Star.
Tony,
Weakening your defenses, Gary.
We're an hour and a half into the podcast, Tony. This tardiness is unacceptable. This lateness is unacceptable.
Yeah, you know what? He should be off the show. Bye, Tony. See you later.
You better increase my wages, right?
They doubled already. Look in your bank account. You should see the same amount, but double
check your account,
what he gave you the last time.
Michael,
you're past time to do a donation, right? Since it seems like only 10 people rotate
down your air vent.
That's where I'm like, no, I don't know what that yet. No.
Tony is Luke Skywalker flying through the tunnel.
I got it down your middle.
He's already got the arm. He got the Luke Skywalker arm.
It's a trap.
All right. Gary, thoughts on the other big teams, United and Chelsea? I don't know much about what's going on over at Chelsea, but
they're in rebuild mode. Chelsea they've got too many. They still got all these players. It's gonna be a while for them to figure things out. United also rebuild. Like people are thinking they're gonna be back where they need to be. I think it's gonna take some time.
Injuries as well.
I think everybody's healthy now. I think for Chelsea, it's just going to be a matter of figuring out, which of the multiple players they have in every position is going to pan out, right?
Yeah.
They've got basically a very decent, what should be a talented second 11, but we got to figure out how to play with them. So yeah, I think it's going to be a learning curve. I mean, it's the first time managing the Premier League.
43 players.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a while for them to figure out which ones are the best ones and who they need to sell. I mean, I think Osimhen is on the list now.
You've been a Premier League, Ray. You've been a Premier League fan a long time.
Been a what fan?
Premier
League fan.
I'd be a bigger fan of them than they actually do something about Man City. I'll be the biggest fan of the Premier League then.
They find them for the kickoff times, whatever that bullshit is.
2 billion.
Yeah, they're now called 138 charges FC.
With Tony, it's episode 4 or 5, an old hope. Yeah, Lawrence. I mean, it's a pittance, right? I mean. I think I wouldn't like to do that, Lawrence. I wouldn't like to add to their load because then you're saying those 22 charges are worth 2 million. So what does 150?
Well, it's an insult. I mean, 2 million to Man City is chump change, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, if you're going to fine them, hand them a proper fine, like 200 million or so.
I get it. They did. I get it. They did it one time. 22. But 22 times they delayed a game.
Yeah.
Why does it take more than once for it not to be exactly?
Is that the referee?
No. What do you mean? The teams either they come out of the locker room late. That's the only thing to think of.
Okay.
Yeah. And hold up the game, right? Like you get like
Well,
whatever 15 to 20 minutes. Half time, right?
Wow.
Argentina did that during Copa America as well.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You know,
I think part of it because they have to cover like the overload of the underground because you got all those people.
That's right. That Loro guy from United is out for like months now, I think.
Yeah,
I think the Højlund thing. I don't think the Højlund thing is that significant, but the Yarrow one is because he's supposed to be a starting defensive back, defender for them. So spent a lot of money on him, 60 mil, doesn't get to play.
Exactly.
As I was gonna say earlier, right? You got United, which will probably be the youngest team in the league, kind of like we were a couple of years ago. Because they were definitely sold on Ten Hag because they just went way for the young kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like the oldest one I've seen is like 22. It's like all of them were that
So
19 to
you
22 range.
approve of that approach, right, Tony?
Yeah,
Okay.
I approve of going for the young kids, promoting them. That's where we got
All right.
where we were. Right, was because Wenger would sit there and he'd pick out the young guys and play them.
All right.
You had your Van Persie's playing when he's 17. You had Fabregas playing when he was real early in the 16.
We'll see how United go this season based on that approach as well, and with their injuries and what Ten Hag is going to do in terms of the league. Because, yeah, I mean, you can win an FA Cup, you can win a Carabao Cup if you really target these things, but your bread and butter's in the league as well. It has to be. Brownie said Pep. People seem to forget that Pep was banned for doping his player. Now he's manager of a club who's financially been doping. Yeah, that's not lost on us. That's definitely not lost on us.
Maguire is back as a defender, so imagine that.
And
So
Johnny Evans as well. It's going to be more of the same, Gary. They're going to have some wins, but they're going to lose some games as well. It'll be and they remember last season into April, their goal difference stayed around 0 or negative. We need a Rafinha, someone that's going to challenge Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus for a spot. And that'll be interesting who the forward is that we're going to go after, you know?
I think this year your 4th, 5th, and 6th spots are to be a lot stronger than they were last season.
what do you mean the 4th, 5th, and 6th spot?
On the table, it's to be more competitive.
You're talking about the 3 forward players that will come in and replace the starters in games.
No.
That what you mean?
No, I'm talking about just on the games.
You said 4th, 5th, and 6th spot, right?
Of the teams in the table, it doesn't matter. Whenever in the table.
Okay, it's going to be walking.
Whoever ends up there, it's not certain teams.
So you're talking about Aston Villa, Chelsea, Man United, Newcastle.
Yeah, and what I was asking you before, when I was saying being a Premier League fan for a long time, when did you see a team like Chelsea that went from like 12th spot to 6th spot and still acts the manager? I mean, things were going great there. Why fucking make a change?
It's called BDS. You were in favor of BDS 4 or 5 years ago.
We've been BDSing, right?
We have. You held up Chelsea as this standard bearer of BDS.
Tony, I have a question for you. Tony, whenever you ask us all, are you asking us all, have we all been a fan of Premier League for a long time?
Yeah.
Or an Arsenal supporter for a long time?
No, I was saying Ray being one. What?
We're all
his thoughts of.
Go ahead, Tony. Sorry.
Tony likes to go take a forum with multiple people on it and make it into a 1-to-1 with Tony. All right, this is just how it works. You just deal with it. You move on. All right.
He makes you feel special when it's just
he's all about yes, exactly. Tony's he's a people person. He wants everybody to feel like they're the star of the ball, right? So he'll pick one person and go with it.
Tony, what have you got for Lawrence? Come on, Tony.
But this is what happens, Ray, because they used to love me, Ray, for being in the comments, but since my arms have been so
who are these people you're talking about, Tony?
Who are they?
I don't know any of them.
Neither do I.
The Steve Denhams.
No, I don't know. I don't know the guy.
For a long time. Current Ward.
I'll tell you what, Steve Denham was here when you're not here sometimes. So.
I miss John Smythe. I don't know where he's been.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Lawrence.
Did you get your Liverpool shirt from Arnie?
I have to say one thing to Tony first, though, and then I'll answer that question. So, Tony, are those guys in your crayon box? John Smythe and Steve Denham, are they in your crayon box?
Yeah, I like Steve.
No,
We
Lawrence, I
always
did not get my Arnie shirt.
Oh God!
You know
What
what?
are
You
we
know what?
gonna do?
Lawrence, he gets those. He gets those personally delivered by Arnie. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how Ray rolls. He gets it face to face. He doesn't deal with this like ordering it and shipping stuff. Like Arnie just brings
Yeah,
it to him.
yeah,
So
has
just right
has
there.
anybody asked Rave a hard hitting question?
no, because you just arrived and you have all the hard
What do
hitting
you
questions for
know?
just one person,
Yeah.
Tony.
Ray, were you wearing your half and half scarf yesterday?
Tony, Lawrence has taken over that segment of the show. You've been eclipsed by Lawrence now. When it comes to that,
I'm still. You know what? I'm still
no, no.
waiting for the next Tony rant.
No.
What's that gonna be?
Tony is the Barbara Walters of our time with his one-on-one crap. Hello, that's from some guy. The Arsenal True X Galaxy podcast. Never.
Yeah, that guy's
He's a
not
new
too
one.
impressed with
New one.
your interviewing skills, Tony.
I just wonder if Alonso does that change the name when Truex retires at the end of
You
the
know, I saw
season?
Don Juan on a show recently,
Good.
so I think he's still around. Yeah.
All right.
I
Good.
haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah.
You haven't
I
been
think
around, Tony.
some Arsenal fans switch off completely from the off season, the preseason, and they come back only when Arsenal come back into competitive action. So yeah,
This is the most I've not really just super followed every move team
yeah,
doing because
yeah.
we really haven't been doing much. It's been on the
But
selling side. The selling side's where the news has been.
all right,
I just wonder if we have a specific target since we're trying to get rid of so many guys that are in the 30 million range.
yeah. The thing as well is that I think generally we all trust who the club are targeting now. We're bringing in the right player, the right profile into the club. So a little bit,
The 17th left back that can also play a center back that we just signed.
yeah. But
We
you're
don't
also
have a center. We don't have a left back that's an everyday starter.
yeah.
Now we do,
We're also
We
boosting
did.
Tony's
and
academy.
those are the and
Well,
those left. I'm sorry, left backs. Those left backs can play center back. So there you go.
yeah. We also are boosting
Kivior can.
Tony's academy kids, though, Tony. One area might make it. Has anyone bought the new black kit, and what do you think of it if you have bought it?
I don't
Not a
like
fan of
it.
it so far. I'm not a fan of it
I
so
don't
far.
like it. Arsenal's away colours should always be yellow and blue.
There we go. There we
Yeah,
go. Get off my lawn. This is the get off my lawn segment right here.
because this was the African Heritage Kit.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's just not. They didn't
I
do a
don't
good
care.
job, Tony.
No.
Yeah, I don't
It doesn't
care.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Arsenal's away colours are always yellow and blue,
Yeah.
and
and
nothing
they,
else.
and
Not
and they, and
pink.
and their home kit should be the same for multiple years, right, old timer?
Yeah. Red and white.
Yeah. I generally like that away for the last season's away shirt as well. I came around to liking that.
That third kit we wore 40 years ago.
It
If you
was
remember, 40 years ago we wore that Wimbledon ball boy kit.
the green. I'm talking about
82,
the.
83.
I was talking about the yellow and blue wavelength one.
Oh no, that was disgusting. That looked like something off from the game board. I mean, I had a game that was similar to that. I mean, how many times did we wear that fucking pink monstrosity a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
A few times, yeah. So
I think they're trying to copy Real Madrid's way of wearing jerseys.
So
I think
I
they're trying to
shouldn't.
copy Real Madrid.
I remember the maroon pops.
yeah,
They
And
weren't
that's
so
Maroon,
good.
2005, 2006. Yeah,
Yeah.
Can I answer that question?
yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. Well, front three, Saka, Havertz, and Martinelli. Then you got Erdegaard, then you've got Rice, and then you've got
Wrong choice, Gary.
Marino.
Yeah, wrong choice.
Sorry.
Wrong choice with what? Wrong choice with what?
I agree with Tony.
Left winger.
Wrong,
Left
We're
winger.
going to come back to that one.
left winger isn't Martinelli.
We're coming back to Martinelli.
Left winger is not Martinelli. All right. We saw what Martinelli can do when he's healthy, so we know what he can do.
We
when
saw
he's
that
healthy.
last night. He was healthy last
He
night.
wasn't healthy last year. You didn't
Last
see him.
night.
Is that last? Oh, it's in a preseason game, so he's done. Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Crazy.
We got him, Tony.
Okay. Because what did Erdegaard do? What did Erdegaard do? You know, he didn't do anything that special.
Ray,
What's
you
your
might
back?
have the big-
What's your fullbacks,
Yeah.
Gary?
Yeah. Our back line
Right.
is going to be Calafiori. You've got
White.
White. Yeah.
Saliba,
And then
Gabriel,
I think
Raya.
Saliba and Mark. Yeah. I think they'll be
All
back
right.
in time for that.
Now, Tony, jump on him now, Tony.
No, I was just never mind.
So after all that, see, this is what Tony. He don't want to. He don't
All
want
the
to fight.
bravado, and then he
He's
backs
all
down.
this talk, and then when it's time to talk, yep.
Tail
And
between
he
the
runs
legs.
off. That is off.
Tail between the legs, yelping. Just like Kolasinac.
Yep.
Does Kolasinac ever do that, Tony?
Do it.
Your dog put his tail between his legs.
He gets himself in about every other position in the world.
All right. Here
Some
we
information we don't need to know, Tony.
go. Gary.
Yes, sir.
Martinelli. We will challenge you on Martinelli.
Yeah.
Do you really want to start Martinelli first game of the season?
Yep.
Okay. Did he play well last night for you?
Gave me what I expected to see. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's Havertz in the box, maybe he scores the cross, right? So, I don't know.
He had a couple of opportunities to cross the ball, and he takes.
I want him to shoot more for sure, but you know what? If I'm begging Erdegaard to shoot,
Gary,
and then I need to, I'm begging a lot of players to shoot because they all seem to be in that same mindset.
It's coached into him, Gary, not to shoot.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a lot of football players coached that way. They're thinking about the next pass.
Gary, the last 2 seasons for Martinelli, I know he didn't have a great season last season, but 71 games played, 21 goals, and 9 assists. So 30 involvements in 71 games. And Trossard has had 26 involvements in 54 games. So Trossard has been outperforming him a little bit. And they offer us different things. We have to acknowledge that.
You know what? He offers. Yeah. Go.
Trossard is the thing we need, though. He's that target man that's lethal. He's the only one that.
We need one of our wingers to be able to attack the back line, and we're not getting enough of it from Saka. So that's not going to happen from Trossard. It's going to only happen from Martinelli.
Yeah.
Huh?
Okay, but attacking the back line is great, and that pace is great, but he still hasn't perfected the assisting part of his game, finding players in the
That's
box.
what I was
You,
paying
you didn't see
attention
him
to
try to
when you
make a
said
pass
that.
yesterday, right? That's why we're just going to ignore that one.
You can try to make a pass, but assist doesn't happen unless you scored a goal. The
Well,
pass
if you put a pass into Gabriel Jesus, what are the chances you get an assist?
1 in 3,
Okay, how many passes did he put into him? More than 3?
but none of them
No,
found Jesus, right?
Jesus isn't there. You're saying that because Jesus is playing as a center forward that's the negative against Martinelli.
No, I'm saying Martinelli's not finding Jesus even. The cross. So the one instance I remember is before we actually scored the goal. It was close to the end of the first
And
half.
Jesus did not put it on target, right? It went out
No,
wide, right?
Martinelli didn't. It was cut out by the defender because Martinelli didn't put it in first time. He took a touch, tried to go past the defender, and he was unable to find Jesus. Then I think.
That's how we play. So if you're gonna complain about that, you might as well complain about Saka too, because he takes an extra touch too. And they all do.
But
If that's gonna be your
no,
case for why Martinelli doesn't get to
you're
play, then they all do it. Everybody.
Ray, can I
you're
say?
saying we need that player on that side to be more cut and thrust than Saka is.
Can
You
I
know,
tell
and
you some
still he's got
inside
the cut and
advice?
thrust, but he's got the cut and thrust, but he's not able to find the pass when needed.
I got some top secret material for you.
No, he doesn't.
In Gary's crayon box, Martinelli's red, and Gary paints everything red.
It's better than painting everything white. At least he is red. Red is the color, you know. Listen, we know that Martinelli is one of our favorite players. We just need to see him with more end product at the end of the day as well. And we hope this season is going to depend a lot on Martinelli boosting his numbers from last season to be more like the season before last season. You know,
I wonder how many teams are interested because it was kind of leaked out. We would be
you want him sold, yeah.
no, but we would be very tempted, which I thought the price was a little high, 70 million and up. Then they would have a discussion about selling Martinelli. I think 50 would be plenty for him.
I think an actual left back will help Martinelli a lot. I think, like I said before, I think Zinchenko gets caught up too much in the attack and leaves Regulus on the island by himself, and he's
Yeah.
because that he's caught as well. So
I don't think it's a matter of who's left back. That's what asking him to do.
playing back four, it's hard to do because it makes the midfield so congested that it's hard for even Martinelli to defend going back. Because Zinchenko, in his mind, wants to play midfield and he can't, and he won't start that philosophy of going forward when he goes back. That's the problem I have with him.
When's our next game and who against Bayer
Is it
Leverkusen next Wednesday? I believe next Wednesday.
Yep. But then we play Lyon.
And then
Like the
Lyon
week
on
after that.
Sunday. And then we have that week till the Premier League actually starts. So I think 2 weeks from now, Man United it will be the eve of Man United starting the kickoff of the Premier League. So Bayer Leverkusen, Granit Xhaka is coming back. And then maybe one of Tony's favorites in Lyon, Lacazette, will be coming back to the Emirates as well. Right?
So you get Xhaka, boom.
Saka once again, Alonso, exactly. BX has his team in. He's put Martinelli in there. Oh, Havertz. You went Havertz anyway, right? As well, Gary? I think you went Havertz. Okay, Raya, Timber, Gabriel. Timber instead of Calafiori. White, Merino, Rice, Odegaard, Martinelli, Havertz. Um, will they be
I
shown on
think Timber's
TV?
on minutes restriction and stuff right now.
Yeah,
That's why I don't feel like he's gonna get
he was
he's ready to
chilling with
start.
Calafiori yesterday on the sideline. I don't know if any of these games will be shown on TV. Gary, Alonso, Lawrence, Tony.
I
No,
haven't looked for it, but I don't think so.
we'll know
Maybe
more
These
maybe
ones,
on
Tuesday.
maybe
They'll
on
probably
E
have they'll probably have
maybe
longer.
on ESPN Plus maybe.
Okay, these games will be back in London now. Trossard could be rotated between left wing and central striker. Yeah. So listen, I think we'll see more of what happened last season with Trossard and Martinelli. If Martinelli's got pressure now. If he doesn't perform, Trossard will play, and vice versa. And that's the way it should be in the hierarchy of the squad. You need to play well. Um, Players should be coming back as well. Gary Rice, Bukayo Saka, they should be joining up for this Bayer Leverkusen game. Rice, Saka, David Raya, Ramsdale,
yeah, it'd be
and
nice to
maybe
see Jesus play out on the wing. You know, I know Nelson can do that, but I would like to see that happen.
yeah. And it may be too soon for the Bayer Leverkusen game, but I think they might come on as subs in that game, and then Lyon have more of a part to play in Lyon. But I would think at least the first two games, they may not start those two games. Saka and Declan Rice.
I would definitely have it on minute restriction on them.
But the way that Mikel Arteta has dealt with Bukayo Saka, it's almost that you are the superstar, and you are expected to play every meaningful game. So I would not be surprised if he goes ahead and puts Bukayo Saka in against Wolverhampton Wanderers at home.
Kind of the problem though. At some point, you need to rest him, so you can't get into the groove of it. The
Yep,
first fun, like he sh- is he going to be ready? Just he's
it's
been
going to be
out for
rusty.
3 weeks resting, right? So that's why there's no reason to rush him. And then 2 weeks, 2 games, and then you're back on international duty. I mean, come on.
Should he be playing in all league and cup games, Ray? But
Oh, that's a good question as well. International duty. Who's going to take those games now for England? Gareth Southgate has stepped down. And will Bukayo Saka be treated? He's given the rest that he needs
They need
on
to
the
find. They need to play some of those other players. I mean, I don't think it's a big match, right? It's almost like they should. Those players that were in the Euros probably don't need to go
Yeah,
on duty, right?
yeah.
They
what
need to
gets
be
me
looking for
what
the next batch, like Ollie
Really,
Watkins and all of them should be getting more
yeah.
minutes and stuff, and
Grealish
seeing
as well.
if they're going to be the answers for
what
the future, right?
Yeah.
why not delay your season by a week like pretty much the rest of the world does, right? All the rest of Europe pretty much starts right when the transfer window ends. What we
Well,
start, then
that's not how
we
England does
start,
it.
then we have we play
So
three
why are you
games, then
asking
we
us
got
to
an
do things they don't
international
do?
break.
That's not what they do. They don't do
It's
that.
ridiculous. Right? Is it ridiculous to play three games
No,
with the
Tony,
Euros in
I'm
between?
answering for Ray. Ray says that's just what it is, Tony. There you go. I'm the voice of Ray now.
Oh
You
yeah.
want to speak to Ray, you get the answers.
I'm not here, Tony. I'm not here anymore. You need to talk to the other panel members, Tony.
Ray was
Go
like, no
one-on-one
comment.
with Alonso, Tony.
You don't have anything to say. What is up with this guy?
Tony, you there?
No,
Knock
I was
knock.
just sitting there thinking, who are you starting at left back?
Me?
Yep. Are you
I
going
don't
Timber?
know. I will start I would, to be honest, I would start Tomiyasu.
Man, he's
Um,
not. He's not going to be back in time, dude.
It's
He's out
right, but
injured.
hurt.
right. So I start Timber because Timber to me is more dynamic. I think he's pretty much, I want to say earned it, but he really certified himself as being a center back, left back kind of combination, someone like Calafiori is. I think Calafiori might stick a couple of the first games just to get adapted to the Premier League. I wouldn't be surprised if Calafiori comes off the bench either. Like Arteta has been doing in the past. Last year he deteriorated more so defensively than he did offensively in some games. I can see that also being more uh, with center backs and the fullbacks getting some that more so than center backs. But I do see Calafiori coming on late in games. But I do see Timber starting the first couple of games of the season. Just so that Calafiori can easily get acclimated into the Premier League. Um, yeah, so I would start Timber at left back my first game of the season.
Gary, here you go.
Any more questions for Ray?
That one was for Alonso.
No more questions
No,
for Ray.
this
All right.
you got one for Gary and you got one for Lawrence, right, Tony?
Gary,
Yes, sir.
$70 million shows up. The taxi's parked
Who's
outside.
chopping wood?
It's
What's that?
you're waiting for Martinelli in the cab and you're handing over 70 million to Arsenal. Does he go bye bye? Does he get in the cab or do you
I mean,
steal
yeah.
the cab and drive off?
Would you cash in for 70, Gary?
Would I cash in now? Yeah, I
Cash
guess. But then
Martinelli.
we're gonna get our striker if you do that. So yeah. You got 70 for Martinelli? Yeah, you get your striker now, right? That's Bucharest all sorted out. Yeah. The only problem is you don't have that you still need to get a wing. You know,
Yeah.
still need to get another wing. I mean, we need to get one now for Saka's side if we don't change things up the way we manage the players. So
Right.
you lose
I don't
Martinelli, you
think you
still need to get
would
another one.
if you just bring on Jesus, then I don't think you
That
have to
that
bring
is
him up.
that is an option, but we have yet to see that be an option taken.
As BX says, I think Jesus scoring or assisting. If not, he's pasture. It needs to be moved to the wings. All right, Tony, you got a question for Lawrence?
Lawrence, what do you think of
Uh-huh.
American Tour so far?
What do I make of what?
The American Tour, Arsenal
The
and the
American.
US.
Well, as I said, I went to the first two games. I was very impressed by what I saw. Yesterday, it's hard to explain because we could have been like 3-0 up after the first 10 minutes. We just didn't take our chances.
Yeah.
And then we allowed Liverpool back into the game. Zinchenko again allowing Salah to run past him. You know, why Arteta plays Zinchenko at left back all the time when we know he can't defend. Again, we give away another sloppy goal after that. And we put a goal back, but it was just a weird game because we had all the possession, but it was like we just didn't want to score. I can't remember Liverpool ever once dominating in the second half. As I said, we had full control of the match in the second half, but we just didn't. We just in the final third, we just couldn't put the chances away.
That's why
Yeah,
I
and look,
don't see why we've been after a striker because we just need that clinical part to a team. You
Yeah,
get it with
because
Trossard for a little bit, but you need a
I don't
steady
believe
one.
I don't believe that Havertz is going to score 20 goals this season. I just don't see it.
Nope. Or getting
I
as
mean,
many assists either.
as I said, the next priority for Arteta is to go out and get Gaia Corres or what was the other one? Who was the other one we were linked with? Gaia
Osimhen?
Corres, Osimhen, because the chances that Jesus and Havertz were missing were just unbelievable, and Martinelli.
Yeah.
We need someone that can get 25 goals a season, and I just don't see any of them getting that.
I think we had 11 shots and 3 of them were on goal. That's just not enough.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not,
Exactly. So do we
Not
put
enough,
this?
you know.
not enough shots either. You need to be
Yeah.
in the 20 range.
Do we put this
I
down
think
to just a preseason game now, or do we say
Yeah,
this is something? This is something we're going to see in the Premier League from time to time, once every 15
well,
games.
we've got 2 more pre-season games back at the Emirates.
Hmm.
Okay, Arteta has to do something, in the next few days. He's got to go out and bring someone in,
Yeah.
Because I cannot see Jesus, Martinelli, or Havertz hitting 20 goals this season.
No, I don't think we're either. I don't think any player is going to get 20 goals, but if a lot of them get 15, then we are in good shape. Gary, you want to get out of here? It's all right. We're going to wind up here anyway pretty soon. Wind the whole game up. Put the 5-minute marker, 5-minute added time up. So give you a few words. Say goodbye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for having me, Lonzo,
Cheers, Gary.
Lawrence, and Tony. Everybody in
enjoy
chat,
your
thanks for
bite,
joining us.
Gary. Enjoy
We'll be
your
back
bite,
on.
Gary.
You're not
I gotta
leaving
get some
because of
rest.
Tony, right? Just clarify.
I'm definitely leaving because of Tony. I don't know.
He's leaving, Ray, because he has his precious bike to go ride.
It's Tony. Since you come on, I've been itching to leave. Tony, come on, you know that.
I
Just
don't
kidding,
know
just
why you
kidding.
keep inviting me on your show
Cheers,
every week.
Gary.
I'm still wondering that myself. I must be crazy. No, just kidding. Everybody, have a good one.
All right.
We'll see you guys on the next one.
Cheers,
All
Gary.
right.
Take care.
Good
Take care,
chat.
pal.
Thanks for
All right,
having
see
me.
you.
Thanks for
See
being here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is something that could pop up during the league in the 15th or 16th game. We'll win. We'll win 10 or 12 games, draw a couple, and then we'll come up to a game like this, Tony, and Tony's saying not good enough. 2 shots on target in 90 minutes, 5 shots on goal total. Right, Tony? So, yeah, we need to fortify against that and go out. Mourinho's coming in. Alonso, we're quite confident about that. 25 million pounds, about 30 million euros. A good player who's going to help us in midfield, and then we need to look for a striker.
Doesn't
Yeah, and so I believe Merino was also captain, part-time, I guess, for Real Sociedad. So, he's leader, I guess, and he also played for Spain, and he's a winner at the international level. So I think he brings a lot of integrity. He's a good player. I believe we were looking at someone else whenever we were looking at another player from Real Sociedad. But it didn't work out, or maybe Arteta saw something in Moreno that kind of well, he kind of had a liking to. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about him coming on board as well. It looks like Arteta has a little bit of diversity as well with his current Arsenal squad, which is a good thing. So yeah, very. So far, I'm very pleased about how they've handled business. It may not have been like early June or late May, but we're getting people coming in and they're buying in, and it's really cool to see having our targets ready to go and that they're willing to want to pay for us, like I said earlier. So yeah, I mean, I think we're a couple more players away, and we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Looking good. Looks like
So
things look, Tony yesterday looked good. I think and I hope it's got to be Mikel Arteta putting the team out for fitness only to get the fitness levels up in certain players because we talked about Zinchenko tonight. Uh, Being unfair to put Zinchenko in the left back position. One of my hot takes is we're going to see Zinchenko 10 or 15 games with him in midfield this coming season. He's going to play a little bit more
we
in
should have
midfield.
had that last season, right? But we
Should
didn't.
have had it last year season, but now we have Calafiori coming in. We have Timber coming in over
But
Kivior.
but with Mourinho, mentioned Mourinho,
Yeah.
does he mean you? Does he mean you sell T-Bag? Because it kind of.
No, I don't think Fabio Vieira is going to go anywhere. Um, this window is about moving Eddie and Ketty on. We're probably going to get 20 some million for Eddie and Ketty. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe we want more. A lot of us, the majority of us here, we're saying take the money and move on, and we can go and get an attacker. Reece Nelson, I feel, is content to stay at Arsenal, and Aaron Ramsdale needs to move as well.
It just be one of those deals where we just keep loaning these players out every year instead of
With an
selling them.
obligation. Yeah, it's very possible some of them may be with an obligation.
Like Terrera, we like for like 3 years this kid kept
Yeah,
sending him out of love. Then
yeah.
finally we're like,
Yeah, but
not
we,
that way.
we we had this discussion down through the years about Zinchenko to be pragmatic or to be progressive, and it seemed like we needed to be pragmatic at the end of the day and not progressive. So,
Being progressive would be playing him in the midfield. He is a
well, from the
midfielder
left
that
back
plays as
position,
a left back.
well, being progressive was playing him from the left back position and attacking, building up play that way, which did help us to a certain extent, not against the top
Yeah,
teams in Premier League. Lawrence?
yeah. But why does Arteta persist in playing him at left back? It's
Yeah.
I just don't get it. You know, he's not suitable for that position. You know, and I'm going to say it again, it's Wenger all over again, trying to put a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So why
Look,
Arteta persists doing it? I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
but one that really doesn't make sense is you're on the knockout of a Champions League, and you're like, let's play a back three. Let's have an
Didn't play it
attacking.
back through Tony.
Yes, we did. Watch the game.
I have, and
Watch the game. Watch the game, Alonzo, and tell me.
is this hilarious
Tell
to be
me
how
what
Tony them
position.
playing back for back three?
Tell me where Tommy Yasu plays. He's in
He
the
plays
midfield,
left
so there's
back.
nobody else back there.
Which game is this, Tony?
The Champions League knockout, we went with a back three because Ben White was
Against
hurt.
Bayern Munich away?
Yeah, because that Ben White
Oh,
was hurt, so we went with the
I'll
back
watch
three, so he would do less
I'll watch the
running.
game over the weekend and I'll be in contact with you.
because it says early on.
The one time you might have been right, because just because the commentator tells you that is not always true as well.
Well, you can easily see. You can watch. You see the little Japanese buddy,
Okay.
Takahiro. You see him. He's playing for
All right.
Zakaro, that
And
attacking
I have a
midfield.
question for you then.
But
Yeah.
Rice played at number 8 role.
Not on that game.
Tony, what is your first color from your crayon box?
Blue.
For who?
On our team,
Yeah.
it would probably be Cassard. He would be one of them starting besides the center backs. The center backs, they're just in there. It's
So
like your yellow and green.
you have a very obvious candidate for your left winger to start on against Wolves.
But is it like Saliba and Gabrielle? Aren't they just yellow and green? They're in there.
Yeah, they're just
You know,
solid. So yellow and green because of Brazil and France.
Brazil and friends.
All
right.
It's just it's amazing how many Portuguese people we have on there.
Want to finish up with Lawrence here and you two as well. Lawrence, what did it mean to go see Arsenal on the West Coast?
Brilliant. It brought back memories of when I used to go every Saturday back home in London during the season. It's such a joy that my team comes out here to play a pre-season.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, with the Kroenkes owning SoFi Stadium, it looks like it's going to be a yearly thing
Regular.
that they're going to come out here.
Yeah.
I would like to see. I mean, I would like to see them play a few more games out here on the West Coast. I know they prefer the East Coast. I mean, I know they played like 4 games in Baltimore and Florida a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I wish the club would take in consideration that there is a large fan base out here on the West Coast, and that they can play games not in Los Angeles, but in Seattle and Portland.
Wow.
And Las Vegas as well.
Yeah.
I hope they take that into consideration when they decide to come out here next year or the year after.
Right. Tiger and Goon is asking, did you get to talk to the smooth talking Clive Palmer?
Yeah, spoke to Clive. I met Theo Walcott at the tailgate party. I think Gilberto walked past me because I didn't recognise him. He was wearing glasses.
Yeah.
But I spoke to Theo Walcott. I spoke to Clive. Who else did I speak to?
How do you let Gilberto slide by you?
What was that?
How'd you let Gilberto slip by you?
Well, believe you me, if you saw Gilberto wearing glasses, it's easy to do that. No, I don't live in Colorado,
Wouldn't
Tiger.
recognize
So I
him.
live in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But as I said, anywhere on the West Coast, Midwest, I would definitely go and watch them play.
Yeah. Arsenal needs to come over to Australia. The ladies were in Australia, but it'd be nice to have the team. It's just
what is
long
it?
flight.
I thought the ladies team was out here as well. I thought they were in Washington.
I thought somebody was in. Maybe it was for another thing. I saw Australia as well. Tony, what have you got? Say your goodbyes, Tony.
I was asked Lawrence.
Yeah, Go ahead.
Try to remember what I was asking him about the.
Just about, was it about the West Coast, about the Cronkies? Was it about?
Yeah, it's like how much do you enjoy being able to actually go see him? Like you said,
How
they
much?
probably need they need to expand like Vegas. Vegas is a nice stadium. They should
Yeah, as I
go play
said, I
there.
mean, someone was telling me before they announced the Bournemouth game, a very reliable source that I know who works for AFTV told me that Arsenal wanted to play a game at that stadium where the Raiders play, Las Vegas,
Yeah,
and there was rumours that Arsenal were going to play Wrexham there. I don't know if that was true or not, but as I said, me going to the East Coast is very difficult in regards to what I do for work. And I remember a couple of years they played 4 games in Baltimore and Orlando, Florida,
yeah, yeah.
and I didn't make that. But as I said, I just don't think the club realise how big the fan base is out here on the West Coast.
Right.
If they, uh,
What I was originally to ask you, Lawrence, is what is it like 2.5, 3 hour drive to Vegas from Los
I
Angeles?
think it's 5 hours for me. I remember doing that when I was married.
Mhm.
5 hours on the freeway.
And the tickets were quite expensive. I think I remember you saying that, Lawrence. The tickets were quite expensive on the West Coast there for you. Your most
Yeah,
recent.
I mean they've got to take into consideration, paying over $100 for the Bournemouth game for a ticket, and over 300 for the Man U game. They've really got to do something about this monopoly that Ticketmaster have regarding sporting events,
Yeah,
because people have got more
exactly.
sense than that, and it's going to come to a point where people say, "I'm not paying $300 to watch a
Yeah,
football
saturation.
match."
Yeah,
I mean,
That's why I used to just go to the press boxes and buy it there because you're not paying the 30 or probably $50 now Ticketmaster fee.
you know,
Then if you put it on a resale site, Ticketmaster owns it and gets percent off the same ticket you sold
yeah,
twice.
yeah,
It's just
yeah, not everything is Taylor Swift. You know,
yeah, yeah. There's got to be some
It's-
kind of regulation over it. But yeah, I'm glad that you had that experience, Lawrence. I wish the ticket prices were more regulated for the average fan. It's not just the tickets to the stadium; it's the travel. It's taking a day off work. It hits everybody in every way. You have to have your food and your drink. Hang out with Gunner
parking,
Sauce,
just kind
parking, all of that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Oh,
And
I've got a message for Tony. Tony, Gunnosaurus wants to buy your crayons.
does he? Does he want a green one first?
yeah,
Yeah,
probably. Don't take Gary's red one. Don't take your blue one. Yeah, listen, Lawrence, thanks for joining tonight. As always, we shall leave it there.
Well,
All right.
we know what color you're picking, right?
I think
Gold.
we.
You
I'm
damn
green.
leprechaun talking.
I'm green. Could be gold. Could be gold. Tony, thanks for joining. You're way too late as usual. You need to drop that Fool Nelson podcast thing and get your priorities straight in life. It's Arsenal first, Tony.
Ray, we did a 5 hour show.
You don't have to be there for the full 5 hours. Tell Tom you have to go to the bathroom and leave and come join us.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh
Like Tom
no!
doesn't do a little peekaboo, like looking through the window.
Oh no! Tony,
Stranger running
you
by,
should
little
go to
leprechaun.
Michael. You should go to Sam Pennant as Michael Jackson. and then just come back whenever on Saturday and say, "Hey guys, I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wrestling. What happened?"
He's you're gonna be doing that thing tomorrow night again. Apparently, Alonso was telling me. So, Tony, get your
Saturday
priorities in
night.
life.
Saturday night.
It's Arsenal over wrestling, Tony. Say it.
Arsenal roster. I don't know.
Say it's Arsenal first and wrestling second. Say it.
It's called Tom needs to cut out all the fucking gifts and extra stuff we have. he,
Man,
he
Tom.
was blaming me for 4 hour shows. Now we're having
So
5 hour
Tom
shows.
Tom used to be the one who slagged me off for going through minute by minute of Arsenal games. Here he is. He's talking about people in leotards, in tight leotards, wrestling with each other, and he's talking about it for
Right,
five
you haven't
hours.
watched wrestling for a while if you think they all wear leotards. You got Braun Strowman that.
All right, Tony. Thanks for joining. And Alonzo, you and Lawrence were here from the start, so kudos to you, Lawrence, Alonzo.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Ray. Good to see you, Tony and Lawrence. Good to see Gary as well. Yeah, I mean, we have seen a big departure in Muscle Show. Who we missed, partly because, he was a academy kid, one of Tony's own academy kids, and, it's unfortunate it didn't really work out, and I hope the best for him at Fulham. Hopefully, Nkedia, uh, Reece Nelson, Jesus, and Zinchenko leave. Hopefully, Ramsdale can leave too, and so he can know his worth and get football somewhere else. Um, yeah, looking forward to how the rest of the preseason pans out with Bayer Leverkusen and Lyon. So, yeah, a lot left to look forward to. Hopefully, during that time, Merino come on as well as how do you say his name, Ray? The guy from Lisbon.
Who's that?
So, the guy from Sporting Lisbon,
From Sporting Lisbon?
the striker, right?
Gikaras. Gikaras.
Vigorous.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Vigorous will come on as well. If not, someone else that could be a striker. I don't see Havertz being number 8. Anyways, that being said, hopefully Arsenal have a good rest of preseason on to August 17th and play Wolves.
There
So,
we go. Yeah, we're into the month where Arsenal will be playing Premier League football, so it's a matter of days now for when it comes. Listen, shout out to Tiger and Gunnar for being here as always in the end, and everyone else who has watched the podcast, who's been part of the podcast, all of you in the panel, and all of you in the chat box. You're all stars as well.
Should the window close in 2 weeks? But
I think it closes at the end of the month, doesn't it, Tony?
Yeah, but it should close the Thursday the season starts, right?
Yeah, it should be 2 weeks
2
from
weeks.
now. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I've got a question for you then, Tony. Are you going to participate in the upset challenge coming up?
Sure.
Are you not going to drop out under a protest 1 week in?
It depends if you take the thing I verbally told you who I was going for.
Rules will be
it's not my fault if you forgot who I picked.
We will if Tom does not keep you next Thursday, we will establish the rules of the game. The rules of the upset challenge. And if Tom doesn't keep you hostage for 6 hours.
And you're the cause of it, right?
The cause of what?
You're the cause of it.
Of what?
Because I made a protest when Sam went against Arsenal when he knew 7 Arsenal players were out with COVID, and he picked up 19 points. And you didn't change it for that, me being tired and not feeling good, I just throw a pick in when I wanted to. I mean, you know who I was picking. I was picking Crystal Palace at home, usually picking Aston Villa as an upset. Newcastle would get in there.
All right.
I mean, I had 96 points at Christmas time, right? Or when they went on the world break for the World Cup. I
You
was way
sound
out
like
there.
Man City will sound like at the end of this season.
I was way out there, right? Was I not? Not 96 points is almost what people
I
finish
don't
with
know.
in here.
I was just asking if you were going to participate in this upcoming upset challenge season, not
Yeah,
to
and
delve
I
back
was just
into
saying,
history.
I need to cheat and keep fair rules.
Listen,
Be- be-
all
Because
right,
it
Tony.
was you not enforcing the rules that
It'd be good to
for
have
some
you on
reason
board. If you could join us,
Stan gets pissed off halfway through the season. I don't get it.
if you can join us next Thursday, we'll establish the rules, and everybody will be on the same page then. Right, Alonso?
Will it be like a
Yeah, last year
syllabus
I had a
list?
strong year last year, so I'm pretty satisfied with my picks. I've been pretty good at it last year, so we'll see how it turns out. Hopefully, this will be on par with Sam and Stan. Hopefully, looking
Yeah.
forward to the season's picks.
What was the winning number last year, right?
Oh, I'll put it up real quick. Last season, Stan, like Sam will tell you, he was out in front for a long,
Mhm.
long way, and then Stan um, won in the end.
You know what's funny, right?
138 points.
I think you're ahead of me, and then I corrected you because I think there was like a draw. I think.
That's fair.
Anyway, so yeah, at least I'm not in last place like last 3 years I was.
No, I was pretty poor last season. Have not heard from Mahir, so it's been a while since I heard from Mahir. I hope he's okay in South Africa. But shout out to Mahir.
That's what sucks with his name. It's hard to know because there are so
Exactly.
many of that name.
Exactly. All right. We'll leave it there. Alonso, thank you. Tony,
Mhm.
thank you. We'll talk
Just
next
say
Thursday.
goodnight, Tony.
But say good night, Tony. We'll talk next Thursday about the upset challenge. Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
everybody for watching. Take care.